And how can... Good morning, everyone. I will try my best to do it easier. We will talk about water positivity. I don't know how many of you are related with the term. The term is about a goal, not a strategy. We will talk about it. It's something that for sure is new in our market. I was working in water treatment for more than 25 years. I was in your shoes for 25 years, and I know how tough it is to sell something. Even preparing a proposal is complicated, and with the proposal in our hands, everything is for the future. Then I know how tough it is. Then for a while we are waiting for our presentation. Okay, let's start without the slides. No, it's there. Okay, we will start without the laptop just because we don't have too much time. When we talk about sustainability, we only talk about what? CO2. But how many times we talk about water? We were talking about pumps, efficiency. What about the water footprint related with energy? Now everybody's talking about data centers. Do you know that in some cases, 95% of the data center water footprint is related with the water footprint, not only with evaporation within the data centers? Long history short, every time that we talk about sustainability, every time that we talk about water, we think about the SDG 6, okay? But we know that consumption is only the 10% of the water that we consume. What about the 90%? The 90% of the water is related with the water footprint of our products and services. And we were dedicating our life only to the SDG 6. What about, there is another SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. This presentation, but we don't have it, is all about that SDG. Between the first meeting in United Nations in 1977 and the second meeting in New York in 2023, we spent 46 years, almost more than, more than 2 generations, talking only about green. We never said, or we never talk about water. We never say blue. We always said green. Even with the colors, to be green, first of all, you have to be blue. And it is only a very good sentence in one of my slides, but it is true. If you analyze water is the only one element transversal in every single SDG. As we said, SDG 12. What's happened? This started in India. We are in the right place. More than 20 years ago, one company said, I want to be water positive. For many, many years, others replicated, and they were talking about water positive. But they were not talking about water positive. They were talking about being more efficient. One day, in a Google sustainability report, in a news, I read water positivity. After 20 and something years working in water, when you read something that you don't understand, you say, hey, what's happened here? Maybe it's something cool or maybe something real. Companies started strongly 5 years ago, a new market, and we didn't know about it. They pledged it. They said, I want to be water positive. I don't know how I will do it, but I will do it. They started with efficiency, but being efficient, it doesn't matter how efficient you are You can't be water positive if you are using some water, for example, in a data center. What's happened in a data center? If you are evaporating water, you can't be water positive because you don't have that water anymore. The same happened in a bottle market. When you sold the soda, when you sold the water, how you could be water positive? The Coke is here. I can't recover that Coke anymore. Then, to do it, how can I be water positive if I don't have the water anymore? The only way that we know to help the water cycle. Wow, I have the whole world in my hand. Now I need the click or to develop telekinesis. Okay. That is where we're talking about. Thank you. One very good point. How many of you knew that in 2022, we transpassed one more boundary, planetary boundary? Water. Okay, the water cycle is not enough. How many ways do you know that we could help the water cycle? Saving, but this saving is not enough because efficiency, saving, okay. Desalination and reuse. There are only two ways that we could compensate the water that we are consuming. I don't know another one. If you want to scan this, you could read it. We are using our savings related with water. We are consuming more water than the water cycle is producing. And with one more spice. In the best scenario, we don't have climate change. With climate change, we have only one boundary condition: too little, too much water, and pollution. Okay, players. It's very good. It's very, very good to you to visualize where are you. Why? Because we will explore some examples, and it's good to you to be in only one of them. We have beneficiaries. Remember when I said companies committed being water positive around the world? Okay, the only one way that they have is saving water outside of the fence. A data center evaporated water to compensate that water at the CO2 market. They could save water out of the fence. What it means? If I am evaporating 10 liters per second, I will do something outside my company to make this basin neutral or positive. What's happening if in this neighborhood we are wasting water in non-revenue water, in the water transportation, outside my operation? Okay, I am evaporating 10 liters per second of water. I will save that water outside the fence. But once I repair it, everything outside the fence, I have to do something else. What's happened if the wastewater we are producing, I take this wastewater, 99% of this wastewater, what it is? Water. And I use that water to compensate the water that we are evaporating. Okay, we will analyze it in an example. Don't worry if in the first shoot we didn't understand it. Okay, but we have the most important piece of this puzzle: the money. Corporations are willing to pay, and I will share with you if you stay at the end of the presentation how much they are paying worldwide to be water positive. We have another player. I think 90% of this audience is a developer. Developers who provide the solution is the developer. We have the beneficiary out of the fence. Somebody need to receive that asset. Then Microsoft is paying to Rotec to install their plant in a reuse plant to create water from the wastewater. Microsoft, Rotec, but we need a place to do it, an utility, the three players. And the last one is where I'm working in Aqua Positive, structuring that matching. Okay, here is the graphic that I tried to explain before. We have a corporation. That corporation need to compensate the water footprint embedded in their product or service. In the case of a data center, it's a service. In the case of a bottled water, it's a product. They finance a solution to create new fresh water. You have an example of developer. Them could be water reuse, desalination, non-revenue water, nature-based solution. It doesn't matter. The best example that I could share with you, if what you are doing fits in this sentence, it is part of the deal. Bringing positive impact in water resources. That is the secret of this game. If you are bringing positive impact in water resources in quality, quantity, and a specific region, you are part of the deal. And then, when you did it, you will compensate the water with the corporation. We don't need to talk about all the framework about it. I'm sharing it with you just because you know where you're looking for if you want to know more about it. But we have to think into three very, very important things that we receive from the CO2 market. Intentionality. Every single, I will repeat it that many times. Every single process bringing positive impact in water resources should be intentional. Should be something for the future. We can trade, we can't compensate the past, only the future. I will do this with this wastewater plant. I will reuse this water from this wastewater plant for the future. Intentionality. We must have additionality. What it means? Before the intentionality, I had a wastewater plant. After the intentionality, I will have water from water reuse. Intentionality and additionality. This comes from the CO2 market. And permanence. Permanence is the best definition we have, a BOT. You, as a developer, have to operate that plant for 10 years, 20 years, 100 years. The good thing here, for the corporation, is better to do it for more years because they don't have to compensate or to work in another due diligence, another project. Again, for that reason, it's a win-win strategy. Okay, remember what I said? Bringing positive impact in water resources. Okay, that is what it meant. There is a framework, the Sea Water Mandate United Nations Group did it a couple of years ago. It is the perfect definition for our work as a developer in the sustainability market related with water. Something that we had to change in the 5 years ago when I started to work in this market, in the water stewardship market, is the language. Sustainability people, they speak another language. We love talking about membrane, flux, blah, blah, blah. They don't care. They only care about your commitment in quantity and quality. That's it. The rest should be storytelling, not an empty storytelling. The right storytelling, maximizing the SDGs. But that is the way that we define our positive impact in water resources. If you are doing desalination, you are desalinating water before the intentionality, you have seawater. After the additionality, you will have potable water, ultra pure water, you name it. Okay, in which way we structure project and corporation prefer to structure a project? Instead of only bringing a connection in water, sanitation, and oh my God. Water, sanitation, and hygiene, sorry. Okay, instead of only connecting two locations with water, it is only SDG 6. What's happened if we connect two locations with water, we use reuse water, and we follow the health of the people? We could increase the quantity of SDGs in every single positive impact in water resources. Now we are facing a problem because everything is divided in this world. Now you have people pro SDGs and people anti SDGs. For me, the only one business plan for sustainability we have globally are the SDGs. For that reason, we are following it. But what's happened if in every single positive impact in water resources, we bring more SDGs? It has more value for the corporation. In this way, we are getting advantage of the SDG 17, partnership for the goal. For the storytelling is much better. Okay, for example, let's put an example. I will share with you some example in Spain. I'm sharing some values. Corporations are paying between 40 cents and 1.15 euros per water saving for processes that by far are not the process that we have for sure in this room as Protec. Once we find the perfect project, the perfect team to present it to a corporation, we upload it in our marketplace. Why? Remember the first rule for this market? Intentionality. The best way to claim intentionality is to do it public. Then in a marketplace where everybody has the possibility to read it, there is no any secret, because in some cases Google could be instrumented, but you will see if you read that in some cases corporations are working together, corporations like Microsoft, Google, and Meta working together, buying the same project to give transparency, because in sustainability, transparency is very, very important. Okay, to do this, we have to measure, we have to target, and strategy. Remember when we said about SDGs, the relationship between the target we will be water positive in 2030. We have to have a strategy. That strategy is dynamic. We can predict the future in water because we know that water could change in every single moment. Not only legislation about new contaminants. What's happened 20 years ago, we didn't talk about PFAS. Today is the new thing, the new big thing, talking about PFAS. For that reason, this is dynamic and should be an interaction between the target and the strategy. Because maybe we have to change the strategy every year, not every day. And reporting is very, very important. Okay. Forget all this mess. What you have to think, only one thing. Everything started for us in 2024. We are writing the future. 2024. How many of you had the possibility before to start something new in water that started 1 year ago? Every single rule, actually, everything is changing. Yesterday, the Corporate Sustainability Report Directive changed it again, at least what they are claiming. But I strongly suggest to you to read all of this. This is the marketplace. I'm putting the image that we have from Jarvis. Jarvis is for the nerd people like me, Jarvis is the same artificial intelligence than Iron Man, just a rather very intelligent system. We have a nerd here. We don't use, as many companies, we don't use artificial intelligence. We use augmented intelligence. Augmented intelligence is the best of the two worlds. We use the repetition, the analysis, and everything from the artificial intelligence, but our engineers take the decision. We don't put everything in a machine and let the machine to decide the future of our strategy. Everything that we are doing with the SDGs, your process, the process of your partners, and the goal of the beneficiary. It's a beautiful interaction. Okay, when I said intentionality, this is the better, this is the best way to show additionality. Sorry, intentionality. In a platform, or maybe you could do it in your own sustainability report. It is not, our way, it is not the only one way. What we are doing is showing more people at the same time. Instead of a corporation looking for in your sustainability report, because you don't have to hire us to do it. You could do it by your own. But we thought that it was better to do it public in this way. Let's analyze this opportunity. I love this opportunity. First of all, because I am fan of Real Madrid, but we received an opportunity 2 years ago. We have a problem with the water that we are used for irrigation. 50 cubic meters per day. I know you are thinking that it is nothing. But what's happened when you are Real Madrid and you read in the newspaper, they are using 50,000 liters per day. If they could use milliliters, it's even better for the newspaper. Okay, then what's happened if they continues using those 50 cubic meters per day and they invest outside the fence in the same basin, in the same aquifer, a green solution to bring a blue solution to compensate the water that they are using for that process of irrigation. Let's assume that this is the aquifer. I'm using 50 cubic meter here, and I give it you back 50 cubic meter there in the same aquifer, or maybe more, 3 times more. Okay, how we did it, or how we are doing it. There is a company, AWC, it's an anti-scalant company, that they are our partner. We are working together as the people here in India, as the team in India, and we found a possibility, a reuse plan outside the fence, a couple of kilometers from the stadium, without any big problem talking about water, because when you are in a data center, you are in Toyota, you are in Meta, and you have to talk about water, it is not their core business. They speak the same language. What's happened if we brought that water outside the fence in a reuse plan where we only talk about water? You know how nerds we are. Yesterday we were talking about membrane 99% of the dinner. Then we could bring a possibility outside the fence. What's happened? AWC didn't sell to Canal de Isabel II anti-scalant because in the last tender they were 5% more expensive than the original product. Then here, because AWC could increase the recovery of that reuse plant, we brought that water to compensate the water inside the field. Then 50 cubic meter here, 50 cubic meter here. Real Madrid is happy. Acciona is happy. AWC more than happy. Who lost in this game? Nobody. And that is the beauty of this. I know the deal is a tiny deal, but what's happening if we could move forward with 1,000 of those deals per month. That is the market that we are looking for. AWC now, they are selling in the traditional way, but they are selling as a water benefits. They are approaching customers as you, saying, do you know that with my recovery, I could bring an additional business that you are bringing to your market? And do you know what? Acciona is not paying for the anti-escalant anymore. Who is paying for the anti-escalant is Real Madrid. It's even better. Real Madrid is not paying for the additionality because Acciona had to change the anti-escalant. Then, for a more expensive product, more efficient, but nobody see efficiency when you are in the purchasing department. For a more expensive product, you have the biggest possibility ever in our market to sell in the right way, because nobody is seeing the price of the deal, 20,000 euros per year. Okay, in some cases, we found that we could do more than three times the 50 cubic meter per day. We offered it to Amazon. Wow, Amazon and Real Madrid working with an anti-escalant company. I never thought in my life this kind of partnership. And it is real. It is happening with many multinationals. This is the way. Okay, we started in Madrid. Our headquarters is in Madrid. And now we are here in India. We love hearing from you what, which, when, why you could bring additionality. Remember, our new frontier for the open mind people will be additionality. How we could bring additionality for water resources. And remember one more thing. For CO2, for the CO2 market, we have at least 170 ways to trade in this market. In the water market, there is only one today, and it started 1 year ago. For that reason, I want to thank you. I try to do my best to do it fast, and if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you. It was indeed very nice. And I'm sorry on behalf of organizers for a little hiccup in your presentation. Nobody was so.
We created additionality.
So now I keep the floor open for any question that you may have on this subject, or you want to have an addition. Yes, sir, please.
Hello. Nice presentation, sir. Basically, I'm also a fan of Real Madrid, and I need to ask some questions. First thing is that India is an agriculture powerhouse, and we are using around 85% of water for an agriculture. So in terms of sustainability, you were talking about regenerative agriculture. Can you throw some lights on that so that we can, way ahead, we can see in terms of...
Could you speak louder, please?
Yeah. Okay, so India is an agriculture powerhouse,
yes,
and we are using around 85% of water to an agriculture farming actually. So in terms of sustainability, you were talking about sustainable goals, sustainable agriculture actually. So in that, there one term is there, regenerative agriculture. So can you throw some lights on that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Very good question. 80% of the deals, in terms of number of deals, are in agriculture. What are corporations doing with agriculture? As you said, between 70 and 90% of the water we use in agriculture. They are bringing savings in agriculture. They are installing a data center, for example, in Zaragoza. Please, if you want, you could Google it. In Zaragoza, in Spain, Amazon invested 1.5 million in agriculture saving. In which way? I am evaporating water here, and to compensate part of the water, I will invest in different farmers to be more efficient. Then they are compensating water evaporation for the cooling in the data center with bringing positive impact in water resources through saving with agriculture. But agriculture is the most famous coin in this new market. And remember I said, in terms of transactions, in terms of volume, the 80% is non-revenue water. The water that we are losing in the water transportation. Just to you to know how powerful is water in sustainability. For all data centers in 2030, we will need only 1% of the water that we are losing in non-revenue water. Just to see that sometimes when we read something, it's not the naked truth. Because everybody's talking bad things about data centers, but with only 1% of the water that we are wasting during the transportation, we could compensate all artificial intelligence that we are using. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. We have O'Hara with us, and she has a question for you.
Hello, I'm O'Hara from the Spanish Embassy, and very great presentation. It was very interesting. My biggest question right now is how are you planning to manage the relationships with Indian municipalities? Because as at the embassy, we see that there are a lot of projects and a lot of opportunities, but it's difficult to get in touch with them. So what are your thoughts on that?
I am not being politic. Thank you for this question, because it's the perfect question. Remember when I said quantity and quality bringing positive impact in water resources in a specific location? The biggest problem, because all of you for sure are engineers, and the best characteristic of an engineer, are you an engineer? Perfect. The best characteristic for an engineer is that we could find a problem for every solution. We are the best. Everybody said at the very beginning, but water is local. But it is not a problem. Actually, it's an advantage. We have Shay here. Because water is local, you have to understand the spirituality of the water. The spirituality of the water is a concept that Will Sarney, one of the #1 strategists in the world, talking about water. You have to understand everything about water, because it's not the same. Actually, in Spain, it's not the same talking about water in Madrid than in Alicante, where I live. For that reason, water must be local, and it is the biggest advantage we have. In Aqua Positive, we don't work in any single place if we don't have a partner. For that reason, I didn't show any Indian project, because we started working with Murugappa group here, and that is a very, very big competitive advantage, because it doesn't matter the knowledge, you have to be local. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have less time now for questions. Alejandro is with us in the exhibition. You also have your business cards. Please share with him, and we can go for more questions. One minute. Okay. I'll take it. Thank you.
Maybe just a question which will also may clarify a little bit, explain a little bit about the country. I'm in Israel, I'm from a company from Israel. In Israel, we are recycling 87.5 of the municipality water and then sending it to the farmer, to the agriculture. So this is basically the model we are talking about, if I understand. The farmer are consuming water, but if I will recycle the wastewater up to a level that I will be able to resend them once again to the farmer, then this is the model.
Yes, and remember.
So if municipality here in India will start to recycle the water, the wastewater, and then to send this recycled water to the farmer, this can be a huge business model for developers such as desalination company and our companies.
Yes, 100%. And just to put Israel in perspective, remember that we were talking about quantity and quality. If we want to create additionality in Israel, you could say, hey, but we are recycling 85% of the water. But remember quality. We could remove actually, we have an amazing project in Madrid, removing microplastic, removing PFAS.
Take into account that we are talking about quality and quantity. That's for sure. This
is a perfect example. Yeah.
Thank you. It was quite perfect. You have to do one more honors because I have a speaker from Pillar and you are my guest today, so you have to give him the memento first and then he'll do the presentation. So please welcome on the stage Mr. Lalit Solanki. Now what you must be thinking that what we are doing in a blower in a water and wastewater management sector. So when I was a young engineer, there was no concept called zero liquid discharge. We used to treat and throw. But today we are not allowed to throw anything. That means you have to invest into a science where thermal energy is used to actually evaporate the water, condense the water and throw out salts. My God. Today, if you talk about water and wastewater treatment industry in India, the maximum amount of energy they spend is not in water treatment, not in wastewater treatment, not in aeration blowers for COD removal, but into the blowers and heat, which is required for zero liquid discharge. So with this background, I'm very proud and honored actually to have a presentation from the world's leader called Pillar. They have been in this business since long. Now you may question, well, how can they be in this business so long? So remember, all the milk we get is a dry milk, all the Bonvita we eat, everything is in the liquid state and converted into solids. It's the wastewater management now in the need where such expensive and beautiful technologies are being used.